first thing that makes you look weak in a woman's eyes is over-explaining yourself. Many men don't even realize they're doing it, but every time they try to justify their actions, decisions, or preferences, they slowly erode their own. Frame, asterisk, a man with true power doesn't feel the need to defend every move he makes. He lets his choices stand as they are without apology. But when you catch yourself saying things like, asterisk, I didn't text because I was busy, but I promise I was thinking about you, or I didn't mean it like that Kai swear I'm not that kind of guy, asterisk, asterisk, what you're really doing is handing her your confidence on a silver platter. She didn't ask for an explanation, but now she sees you as someone who needs to justify himself, and that screams insecurity. Women are wired to detect weakness, often before you even realize you're showing it. Hypergamy operates like a bloodhound, sniffing out hesitation, self-doubt, or approval-seeking behavior. The moment you start over-explaining, she begins questioning whether you're as solid as you pretend to be. Asterisk. Another instant turnoff is when you try to convince her of your worth. If you ever find yourself saying things like, asterisk, I'm different from other guys, or I treat you better than anyone else, asterisk, you've already lost. She knows exactly what you're doing, pleading your case like a lawyer in court, hoping she'll validate you. But attraction isn't a negotiation. It's primal. Asterisk. It doesn't respond to words. It responds to energy, mystery, and emotional impact. The second you try to sell yourself is the second she mentally files you under just another guy who needs her approval. This need to explain yourself often stems from fear of being misunderstood, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. But the irony is that the more you try to clarify, the more uncertain you appear. Asterisk, a man who is truly confident doesn't need to fill silence with justifications. He's comfortable with ambiguity because he trusts his own judgment. When you over-explain, you're essentially asking for permission to exist in your own space. And that's the opposite of masculine strength. Women are drawn to men who are at ease with themselves. Men who don't need external validation to feel secure. The solution isn't to become cold or distant, but to embrace brevity, instead of giving a long-winded reason for why you didn't. Reply right away. A simple, I was tied up, is enough. If she presses, you can smile and say, don't worry about it, without diving into unnecessary details. This communicates that your time and attention are valuable not because you're playing games, but because you have a life outside of her. The less you explain, the more she'll wonder, and curiosity is the foundation of attraction. Ultimately, the strongest stance is one of quiet assurance. You don't need to defend your choices because you know they're yours to make. When you stop over-explaining, you stop giving her the power to judge your worth. And that's when she starts seeing you as a man who doesn't need her approval, just her respect. A woman's attraction is deeply tied to how you handle emotional tension. One of the fastest ways to fail her tests is by reacting emotionally when she pushes your buttons. Asterisk, women instinctively probe for weakness, not out of malice, but because hypergamy demands they find a man who remains unshakable under pressure. When she suddenly goes cold, cancels plans last minute, or throws a subtle jab your way, she's not just being difficult. She's checking if your confidence is real or just an act. The weak man takes the bait every time. He gets defensive, asks needy questions like, why are you acting like this? Or worse, tries to logic his way into her good graces. But the moment you scramble to correct her behavior or seek reassurance, you've already lost. You just proved she can control your emotional state with minimal effort. True strength isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. A woman doesn't want a robot. She wants a man who can feel deeply, but isn't ruled by impulse. When she senses you're emotionally volatilely angered, visibly hurt by her silence, or desperate to fix her mood, she instinctively pull away. Asterisk, why? Because if small things rock you, how will you handle real adversity? Her attraction hinges on the subconscious belief that you can anchor her in life's storms, not the other way around. The man who stays composed when tested doesn't just pass her exam. He rewrites the rules. Asterisk, he knows her behavior says more about her than him, so he doesn't internalize it. If she's distant, he gives her space. She's testing, he stays. Amused, his indifference isn't coldness. It's proof he has options. This is where most men self-destruct. They mistake a woman's emotional turbulence for a problem they need to solve. She has a bad day and they morph into therapists, offering unsolicited advice or peppering her with asterisk what's wrong. Asterisk texts. But women don't fall for men who try to manage their emotions. They fall for men who remain steady while they feel. There's the strongest response to her tests is often no response at all. When she cancels a date, reply no worries, catch you next time, and disappear until she re-engages. If she's being bratty, smirk and change the subject. Your calmness forces her to either escalate, revealing her hand, or mirror your stability. Either way, you win. The key is recognizing that her tests aren't personal, they're biological. Thousands of years of evolution have hardwired women to seek men who won't crumble under stress. Your ability to hold frame under fire signals higher status than any job title or physique ever could. So when she throws a curveball, don't swing. Let it pass. The less you react, the more she'll respect you on, the faster she'll stop testing altogether. Because once she knows, she can't rattle you. The games cease. Asterisk, and that's when real connection begins. The fastest way to kill a woman's attraction is by making yourself too available. When you respond to her texts immediately, always rearrange your schedule for her or shower her with constant compliments. You transform from a prize into an afterthought. Asterisk women are drawn to mystery and challenge, not predictability. If she can always count on you being there, regardless of how she treats you, she unconsciously loses respect. Your eagerness communicates that you value her attention more than your own time, and nothing dries up attraction faster than that. Realization? This isn't about playing games. It's about maintaining self-respect. A man with options doesn't drop everything for a woman who hasn't earned his full attention. When you're always the first to reach out or quick to fill awkward silences with nervous chatter, you signal desperation disguised as enthusiasm. Women can smell neediness beneath the surface of overeagerness. Asterisk, they crave men who have a life beyond them. Men who don't treat a simple text like a life raft in the ocean of their loneliness. The moment she senses you're orbiting her world instead of letting her enter yours, you become ordinary. The solution lies in embracing scarcity. Don't reply to messages the second they arrive. Let her wonder what you're doing. She cancels plans, don't reschedule right away. Let her feel your absence. Your attention should feel like a reward, not a given. Yes, this isn't about manipulation. It's about demonstrating that your time and energy are valuable. Women instinctively chase what they can't fully grasp. When you're slightly out of reach, start questioning why she hasn't locked you down. But if you're always within arm's reach, she'll never feel the urge to lean in. True desire grows in the space between interactions. If you're constantly filling that space with your presence, she has no room to miss you or to imagine what you might be doing without her. Let her curiosity work for you. The less she knows about your every move, the more intriguing you become. This doesn't mean being cold or distant, but rather maintaining an air of quiet independence. Show her you're interested, but never that you're invested before she's earned it. The man who controls the rhythm of the relationship controls her attraction, and that rhythm should always leave her wanting just a little more. Women don't want a debate partner, they want a leader. One of the most common mistakes men make is turning every decision into a committee meeting. Asterisk, where do you want to eat? What do you feel like doing tonight? These questions seem polite, but they subtly communicate indecision. A woman doesn't want to be your co-pilot. She wants to relax into your certainty. When you constantly defer to her preferences, you aren't being considerate. You're making her do the emotional labor of leading. And nothing drains attraction faster than feeling like you're dating yourself. True confidence isn't about being rigid. It's about owning your choices without apology. The masculine energy that attracts women isn't about control, but about clarity. Instead of asking where she wants to go, say asterisk, I'm taking you to this new place. I'll love the ambiance. Instead of nervously checking if she's free this weekend, tell her asterisk, I've got plans for us Saturday, or something comfortable. Asterisk, this isn't about being domineering. It's about providing the structure her feminine energy craves. When you take the wheel with relaxed confidence. She doesn't have to wonder if you know where you're going, and that's incredibly seductive. The magic happens in the contrast between your decisiveness and her ability to surrender to the moment. Most men get this backward. They want her to take charge while they tag along, then wonder why the spark fades. But polarity, the push and pull between masculine direction and feminine response, is what creates electricity. When you lead, you give her permission to drop out of her analytical mind and into her emotions. That's where real connection lives, of course. Leadership isn't about ignoring her input, it's about filtering it through your judgment. If she hates sushi, don't drag her to a raw fish restaurant just to prove a point. But when you've considered her preferences and still make the call, you demonstrate both strength and attentiveness. The key is balance. Be open to her perspective, but never hand her the reins to your masculinity. The man who can say, "We're doing this," with a smile and mien, it will always stand out from the crowd of wishy-washy nice guys. Because in the end, women don't fall for your choices, they fall for the man confident enough to make them. The moment you ask a woman for reassurance, "Do you still like me?" or "Where is this going?" you've already lost. Needing her to validate your worth is the ultimate display of weakness in the dating game. Women don't want to be your emotional caretaker. They want a man so secure in himself that her approval becomes irrelevant. When you chase clarity, you reveal your hand too soon. You communicate that you're more invested in her feelings than your own purpose. And nothing kills attraction faster than that imbalance. This isn't about playing hard to get, it's about genuinely having better things to do than obsess over her level of interest. The strongest men don't seek confirmation because they already know their value. If she's pulling away, they don't panic or demand explanations. They simply redirect their energy elsewhere. This creates a powerful paradox. The less you need her to define the relationship, the more she'll try to lock you down. Women are drawn to men who remain unfazed by uncertainty because it signals deep self-assurance. When you can comfortably walk away from mixed signals without so much as a question, you demonstrate the kind of emotional independence that makes her chase you. The secret isn't indifference. It's detachment from outcomes. Show interest, but never investment until she's earned it. Let her be the one to bring up what we are. When she feels you slipping away, not because you're playing games, but because you're too focused on your mission to notice her hesitation, that's when she'll start qualifying herself to you. This reverses the dynamic completely. Suddenly, she's the one worrying about your attention, not the other way around. True power lies in silence. The man who doesn't beg for reassurance forces her to either step up or step aside, and either way, he wins. Because at the end of the day, a woman's commitment means nothing if you had to negotiate it out of her. Let your actions, not your pleas, speak for you. When she realizes you don't need her to feel complete, that's when she'll truly want you. Not because you convinced her, but because you didn't have to.